Yo, what is going on, guys? It's C-Brev. Welcome to another MLB The Show 19 card review. Today we're going to be going over 99 overall Signature Series Bob Gibson. This card was a boss for the 5th inning program, so he's no longer obtainable that way. So the only way to get him as of right now is to buy him through the marketplace. And I have a lot to say about this card on a couple fronts, so stick with me. This may be a longer intro to the video, a longer card review, but I just want to say everything that I think about this card in one go. So as a general overview, I think that if you play most of your games below 900 rating, that you should not use this card whatsoever. This card suffers from a lot of the problems that many pitchers suffer from at lower difficulties, but on a much more amplified scale. And the main reason this is caused is because of the lack of speed differential in his pitch repertoire. So the two main detriments to him in this regard are the fact that the difference between his fastest pitch and his slowest pitch is only 18 miles an hour, and the fact that one of his breaking pitches, which is his slider, is really fast. He can get it up to 93 if you throw it with full energy. So this seems good on paper, but it's actually really bad on lower difficulties for a couple reasons. One, on lower difficulties, it's easier to react to fast pitches, so having a fast off-speed pitch is really bad on low difficulties. Additionally, the fact that his four-seam sinker and slider are only at a max difference of 8 miles an hour makes it really easy to foul balls off on lower difficulty, especially with 2 strikes. Even with the 112 K per 9, he suffers from this a lot. There's just not enough speed differential to get strikeouts, in my opinion. So on All-Star difficulty, on Hall of Fame difficulty, I would definitely not be using this card, especially with how much his price costs. On Legend difficulty, he's better, as are most pitchers. Like I said, for him it's more amplified though. On Legend difficulty, I would classify him as tier 2. I don't think he's tier 1 even on Legend for many of the reasons that I said before. The main one being, the main difference on Legend being that he really struggles to get left-handed hitters out against good players. He doesn't really have an out pitch versus lefties because his sinker doesn't have much movement and it's really fast, and that's the only thing he has that has arm side movement. So as far as pitching with this card, he's one of those cards where his slider is so hard that it's actually more effective up in the zone than down in the zone, which can get you punished versus good players and would on paper be better against bad players, but for the reasons I already said, this card doesn't perform well on lower difficulties, so he's kind of in this weird place where his pitch repertoire should be good against people on Legend, but in general he just doesn't get the job done on lower difficulties, which is the majority of the player base and the player base that I try to focus on when doing these card reviews. The 96 home runs per 9 is nice. He does not give up a lot of home runs in my experience, but he does give up a lot of hits. I had a cumulative team ERA of about 2.6 for last season, and this card had about a 4.1 ERA, if that puts it into perspective. So overall, pretty disappointing. This card looked like an absolute beast on paper, and I just don't think he has what it takes to be a tier 1 starter in this game, and there are definitely better options out there, especially with how much this card costs. So as always, we'll rate the card as it rates in the meta, and we'll rate him compared to how much he costs. So for how he is in the meta, I'll give him a B. Like I said, I already kind of went over all the reasons why. For how much he costs, I'll give him a C+. He's selling for about 80K right now, which is a lot for a guy that I don't think is a tier 1 starting pitcher in the game. So that's going to do it for this review. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Feel free to disagree or agree if you want. Let me know if there's any player specifically that you want me to review. Enjoy the clips after this, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
You. Bye.